I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who'd destroy her own daughter's happiness. But here I am, standing in my kitchen at 3 a.m, clutching my phone with trembling hands, reading a text message I have no right to be reading. A text message from him. From Marcus, my son-in-law. It started innocently enough, or at least that's what I keep telling myself. Sarah brought him home 2 years ago, her eyes sparkling with that kind of love you only see in movies. She was 26, he was 32, and I remember thinking how perfect they looked together. How his laugh filled our house with warmth, how he held doors open for her, how he listened when she spoke, really listened. I was happy for her. Genuinely, completely happy. The wedding was beautiful. I walked her down the aisle since her father passed when she was 12. Marcus waited at the altar with tears in his eyes, and when they said their vows, I cried too. Tears of joy? I thought just tears of joy. But then something shifted. It was subtle at first. The way my heart would skip when I knew they were coming over for Sunday dinner. The extra care I'd take with my appearance on those days. The disappointment that felt too heavy when they had to cancel. I told myself I was just happy to see my daughter, excited about the family dinners we'd established as tradition. I was lying to myself. 6 months ago, Sarah got a promotion that required extensive travel. She'd be gone 2, sometimes 3 weeks at a time. She was ecstatic, and I was proud of her. So proud. But she worried about leaving Marcus alone so much. She asked me, her voice full of trust and love, if I could check in on him occasionally. Make sure he was eating properly. Maybe bring him some home-cooked meals. She knew he worked such long hours at the architecture firm. I should have said no. God, I should have said no. The first time I went to their apartment alone, Marcus seemed surprised but grateful. I'd made his favorite lasagna, the one Sarah always requested but never quite got right. We ate together, and we talked. Really talked. About his childhood in Boston, about the buildings he dreamed of designing, about his father's battle with Alzheimer's. Things Sarah had probably heard before, but never mentioned to me. The conversation flowed like wine, easy and intoxicating. I went back the next week, and the week after that. Sometimes he'd text me first, asking if I had any of that pot roast left, or if I wanted to watch that documentary series Sarah had no interest in. It felt harmless, neighborly. He was my son-in-law, and I was just being a good mother-in-law, filling in while my daughter built her career. But then came the night everything changed. It was raining, one of those violent autumn storms that makes you want to stay indoors with warm blankets and hot tea. I'd brought over some soup, and we'd settled on the couch to watch a movie. Somewhere between the opening credits and the second act, the space between us seemed to shrink. His arm was on the back of the couch, not quite touching my shoulders, but close enough that I could feel the heat of it. When the movie ended, neither of us moved. The silence stretched out, thick and heavy with something I didn't want to name. Then he turned to me, and the way he looked at me, it wasn't the way a son-in-law should look at his wife's mother. It was something else entirely, something dangerous and thrilling and absolutely wrong. Nothing happened that night. I left quickly, my cheeks burning, my hands shaking as I drove home. I didn't sleep. I stared at my ceiling, thinking about my daughter, about the trust in her eyes, about the woman I thought I was, the woman I wanted to be. I stopped visiting, made excuses, said I was busy with work, with friends, with anything. Marcus didn't push, but his texts continued, casual at first, then more frequent, then more personal. He told me about the fights he and Sarah had been having, how distant she seemed, how her career was consuming her. He said he felt alone in his own marriage. He said talking to me made him feel seen in a way he hadn't felt in months. I knew I should stop responding. Delete the messages. Tell Sarah. Do something, anything to stop this train before it derailed completely. But I didn't. Because somewhere in those late-night conversations, I'd started feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Desired. Important. Young again. 2 weeks ago, Marcus showed up at my house. Sarah was in Singapore for work. He said he couldn't stop thinking about our last conversation, about something I'd said about second chances and life being too short for regrets. He stood in my doorway, rain-soaked again, as if the universe was creating pathways for our mistakes, and asked if he could come in. I let him in. We talked for hours about everything and nothing. About the loneliness that comes with loving someone who's never really there. About the guilt of wanting something you can't have. About the fear of waking up one day and realizing you've wasted your entire life being who everyone else needed you to be. When he kissed me, I kissed him back. For one terrible, beautiful moment, I let myself forget that he was my daughter's husband, that I was her mother, that this betrayal was so profound it could never be forgiven or forgotten. Then reality crashed back in. I pushed him away, told him to leave, told him this could never happen again. He looked at me with such raw pain in his eyes, and I realized with horror that he'd been falling too, that this wasn't just my shameful secret, it was ours. He left. We haven't spoken since, beyond the perfunctory texts about Sarah's schedule and family obligations, but the damage is done. The line has been crossed. And now Sarah is coming home tomorrow. She called yesterday, so excited to tell me about her trip, about how much she missed Marcus, about how she's thinking of cutting back on travel because she wants to start focusing on having a baby. A baby. My grandchild. Growing up in a family I've poisoned with my selfishness. I look at my reflection in the dark kitchen window, and I don't recognize the woman staring back. She's a stranger who destroyed something precious for a fantasy. For a moment that tasted like freedom, but left behind only ashes. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if Marcus will confess, if guilt will eat away at him until he breaks. I don't know if I should be the one to tell Sarah, to at least give her the truth from my own mouth. I don't know if silence might be the kinder option, letting her keep her marriage and her image of her mother intact, even if it's built on lies. What I do know is that love, real love, isn't supposed to hurt like this. It isn't supposed to require choosing between your own happiness and someone else's entire world. It isn't supposed to make you hate yourself when you look in the mirror. And I know that tomorrow, when Sarah walks through my door and throws her arms around me, when she tells me how much she missed me and how grateful she is to have me in her life, I'll smile. I'll hug her back. I'll ask about Singapore. I'll pretend I'm still the mother she thinks I am. But inside, I'll be screaming. Because I've learned the cruelest lesson of all. That sometimes the most destructive love isn't the kind that burns everything down in an instant. It's the kind that eats away at you slowly, quietly, until you wake up one day and realize you've become someone you never thought you'd be. And there's no going back from that.